Oh, Mal, absolute superstar. One of the greatest all-rounders in Test match history. The first man to 10,000 runs. The original Indian little master. Of course, I'm talking about Sunil Gavaskar. Sonny, thanks a lot for joining us. Oh,
my pleasure.
How relaxing.
And thank you so much for calling me an all-rounder. I've been dying to be called an all-rounder.
Well,
I've got a wicket, so I'm an all-rounder.
So name names, who did you get out?
Zaheer Abbas for 96. He was looking for a century in each innings. He got a century in the first innings, and I bowled him one of those snake balls. So, 96. And we still talk, mind you.
He scored over 100 first-class hundreds.
He did.
It's not about Zaheer Abbas today. It's about you, Sonny. And you're in Australia. The first time you toured here was actually in the World 11, 1971-72. But as an Indian team member, it was 1977-78. Can you remember all the way back then?
Well, yes, I do, because, that was such an enjoyable tour. It was, a fun tour. We had some great cricket. The 5 Test series went 3-2. But one of the things that I remember is some of the guys saying on the flight into Australia that by that time, the Australians had got some sort of a reputation as the ugly Aussie. And I know. And so some of the boys said to me, some of the batsmen said to me that they were actually carrying their own birth certificates as well as their parents' marriage certificate, in case they were ever called.
To make them immune.
Yeah.
To
show.
Well, you're wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I've got physical evidence that
Exactly.
That's actually incorrect, Tomo. Yes. and what an exciting tour you said as well, like a lot of close Test matches.
Yep.
But for you, 100 here on Boxing Day, and also it was the first time India had won a Test match in Australia.
Yes, I think that made it even more memorable to be able to make some contribution to the win. Though I have to say that it was Chandrasekhar who got 6 wickets in each innings. That he was the architect of our victory. But to be able to make some sort of a contribution with the bat was really, really nice. And, in front, we didn't have a full house, of course, but we had a lot of people that day. And it was a fantastic moment when India won.
No, it was for the Indians. What about next tour, 80-81? You're on the way to another 100. You're facing Dennis Lillee.
Yep.
And this happens.
Yep. Well, I got an inside edge. As you can see from the forward short leg fielder, he hasn't done anything. He hasn't moved. But here I am walking off.
Dennis seems encouraging.
Yeah, Dennis is telling me it hit you there, and I'm trying to say that no, it didn't. And now you see, I've asked Chetan to walk off with me. But the whole thing is that the misconception is that I was upset at the LBW decision. Yes, it was upsetting, but the walk-off happened only because as I had gone past Chetan on the way to the change room, the Australians gave me a spray. They told me to get lost.
To not stay here.
Well, not in so many words. They told me to get lost. So which is where I actually have come back, and then I've asked Chetan to walk off with me.
When you asked him, what was his
how did he
respond?
His reaction was, "Are you serious?" And then as we walked a little further, he asked me, "Are you serious?" And at which point I walked further away from him. But why walk off? The previous day, we had this situation where we thought Border had been out, Alan Border had been out 3 times. And then he was, after 100, he was bowled round his legs. And the umpire started to go towards the square leg umpire to confirm whether it had happened. And the wicketkeeper, Syed Kirmani, said to me, if this is given not out, I'm walking off. So I said, you can't do that. And he said, no, this is questioning my integrity. So that word walk off, was there. So next day when this thing happened, that's it.
Syed Kirmani
caused
this.
He's the one.
What about the next tour though? You're smiling, and there was plenty of smiles. You dominated the 1985-86 series. Here's a highlight of 100 in Adelaide.
Yes, it was fun. We had 3 Test matches. Again, the series was drawn. No result in all the 3 matches. That was a very good Australian team led by Alan Border. They had Billy McDermott, Merv Hughes to open the bowling, and batting also was very, very good.
And you played against Merv, and I believe he sledged you. I think he called you a little kid.
Or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, but Merv had the last word. I also got back at him after getting 100, mind you. That was the first time I had actually been called anything, apart from, of course, in Pakistan, when you expect to be called.
Now, what about one-day cricket? You're able to adjust your game. You're a beautiful stroker of the ball, and you like forcing the batsman to chase them. But we're looking at some big sixes.
Well, that was the different game because, you know, we were brought up, our upbringing in cricket was to hit the ball along the ground. So this was a little bit hard to get used to, but eventually I think by the time the thing ended, I'd managed to, you know, get the ball up in the air a bit.
Oh, I like seeing that, Sonny. But the highlight for one-day cricket was obviously the 1983 World Cup win. A bit like the Aussies 4 years later, you know, you weren't the favourites, but on final day, you dominated. What about the memories there?
Absolutely, fantastic. And now when the ball hits holding and ricochets off, I was at gully backward point and I got the ball, put it in my pocket, the ball is still with me, the ball, and ran towards the Lord's dressing room. I tell you what, even Usain Bolt wouldn't have been able to catch up with me.
So have you still got it now?
Yes, the ball is still with me.
Jeez, imagine how much that would be worth, I tell
Yes.
you. Hey, talking about the Aussie attack, what about Jeff Thompson?
Oh my God.
Was he clearly the fastest bowler you faced?
By a distance. I even played Michael Olding, who wasn't slow.
No.
But as far as Tomo was concerned, maybe because we played him on Australian surfaces where the ball also has the extra bounce and the extra carry, maybe that is the reason. But he was unbelievable. He was quick.
And what about some other highlights as a team? The 1985 championship here in Australia, you guys won it. And the celebrations, is that Ravi Shastri driving?
Yes, but he had never driven an automatic gear car before, so I had actually to show him how to press it and put it in gear. And that's when the whole thing started. But the manufacturers were actually very happy with the publicity they got.
I believe he left it here. He's driving around this weekend before the Boxing Day.
Well, I don't think so. He's got it at home. But what they need to do is to make sure that they get onto the front foot a little bit more to make sure that they drive the Australians.
I like that pun. And guess what? You've won World Cups. You've faced Tomo. You've won 34 Test hundreds, but nothing's as big as this. What about the BCF gift card?
Oh, thank you.
Boating, camping, fishing. What about this, Sonny?
This is terrific.
True highlight.
Absolutely. This is going to be one of my favourites of this particular trip.
Mal, what a legend. Back to you.